Young people looking for the right leader in the workplace. Coming up, we will hear from an expert about what a boss can do to improve the work culture.
Fox 10 Extra News at 7 is back.
A new report shows a shift in the work culture all around the country. Young people are setting clear boundaries at their jobs. The study says that Gen Z isn't lazy or too demanding. They are simply done tolerating a bad boss. Many are prioritizing a workplace that is fair, well-structured, and has the right employee values. Today, I spoke with Paul Peters, a workplace expert who says that companies need to look at themselves and ask if they are truly a good company to work for. Paul Peters, he is a workplace expert, joins me now. Paul, thanks so much for joining me.
You're entirely welcome.
I think there is the perception out there that this younger generation, who now makes up a huge chunk of the workforce, they're just lazy. And bosses, you hear it from them, they complain about this generation. But this report is saying, well, actually, maybe it's the company, maybe it's the boss that should be making some changes, and it's not necessarily that this generation is lazy.
Yeah, I actually come at this from two areas. One as a father of 3 Gen Zs, so I live it. I also am a boss. I'm an employer in North Carolina. I have a pretty large company serving folks with intellectual disability, mental health, and substance abuse. So I come at it from both of those standpoints. And I would tell people we came off within the last year to two of a remote environment that was forced upon us worldwide to live in that type of environment. So people were working in a remote in their homes. Many of them may have had a suit jacket, but wearing pajamas as they're working. Then they're coming back to work. And so people got into a habit of how and what they want to work to look like. And now they're coming back into the mindset. I was the one that chose how I wanted to work. I could work out of Starbucks. I could work in my lounge chair. And so you're seeing some resistance because it's been kind of trained. And if I can be as productive in the work environment, work-life balance is very important for Gen Zs. And myself and fellow employees, our employers have to be sensitive to the new environment that people are working in.
Is there any validity to the fact that if you work remotely that you're not as productive?
I think that's somewhat bogus. A lot of people can be very productive in a remote environment. What I have done is I've actually brought on some HR consultants to look at the culture of my company. We have to look at what the employers are looking at. What they want to value, they want fairness, and they want clarity on what their expectations are. If you can work successfully in a remote environment and still have accountability, i.e. get your work done, then why not allow them to do that? I think that's what employers have to look at. We've got to be flexible. Employers need to be sensitive and look in the mirror and say, how am I as a boss? Would I want to work for me? That's what I have done. I want to make sure that my culture, my company is successful, and the only one that can make that happen is me. Am I being the kind of boss that people would want to work for? Employers need to take a look at, am I an effective boss? We need to get back and taking the classes that are up to speed, not your classes from the 1950s. We need to make sure we have the leadership style that Gen Zs are going to respond to. Gen Zs are going to respond if they feel valued, if they feel appreciated, if they have a voice. And I think that is the biggest and first step. The employers have to take the first step. If they don't, employees will, and they will walk.
Paul, thanks so much for your insight. We really appreciate it today. Really fascinating discussion.
Thank you.